The following podcast contains explicit language and content that may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Why are you so bashful?
Welcome to the Get Spooky podcast, where two funny dudes share paranormal stuff, true crime, and other scary things from around the world. I'm Andres,
And I'm Kevin.
and welcome to another episode.
Welcome.
What episode number is this?
105.
Welcome to episode 105.
We've made it this long. Can you believe?
We've been yapping at you guys since the pandemic.
Literally since the pandemic. We've been there.
You know what's crazy? Lately, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how nostalgic the pandemic songs were.
Oh
which
my
were,
god.
Like the TikTok trend songs.
Yeah, I think
And
as
I'm
of, oh sorry.
that's a little wild that we're nostalgic for the pandemic.
I mean, there was like one good thing about it.
Which was what?
I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
But I know as of recording this,
Uh-huh.
a few days ago, 6 years from then. Does that make sense?
I don't know what you're saying, but yeah,
6
finish.
years ago from a few days ago.
Okay.
As of a few days ago.
Okay.
Everything went into lockdown.
Okay.
So like right now it is March 15. This probably won't come out until tomorrow, but it's fine. But as of like March 13, I think a lot of people were posting like their throwbacks of like on this day, you know, that social media has a lot of that where people were posting like the reactions. It's sad to think looking back about how many people were like, well, working from home for the next 2 weeks or something, and then
it was not the next 2 weeks.
yeah, a lot of times like it was just a life-changing change. Yeah, a life-changing change. Like some people never went back to their offices. Some people never saw those same coworkers again. Some people got new jobs. Some people were let go.
They moved across country.
Yep.
Like so many things happened. I remember not to be nostalgic about the pandemic, but I remember like my first couple of weeks. Remember, I was still having to go to work for a few days.
Yep.
Because we would have to go pick up like what we were doing for the day, bring it home, and then start working.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember driving during peak traffic time because that's what time I would go into work. So it would take me about 20 minutes to get to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally taking me 11 minutes to get to work because the roads were empty,
Yep.
empty, and it was scary. It was like the apocalypse.
Yeah, I think the place I worked at the time was one of the last few places that actually closed down, and that's because the owner was under the impression that that the pandemic wasn't real and that it was like Bill Gates was orchestrating. I don't know what.
Also that, I
So
feel
the
like
way some people spin these narratives, I'm like, dude, put that brain power to use and write a book.
it's like the things that people were kind of keeping under lock and key, all their like conspiracy theories or like the weird things that they thought, all of a sudden were being very vocalized, and we were like, wow, a lot of people that I thought were normal are very unhinged.
Yep.
That was wild.
And they're like, they're putting chips in us. I'm like,
Yeah. The mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. We're not going to be able to buy anything unless you have a chip in your hand and you go like this, and it's going to say 666, I love Satan.
chips?
Literally.
That's what I heard. I was like, chips? They're giving out free chips.
Oh my gosh.
I hope it's hot Cheeto, not Frito-Lay.
Hot Cheeto. Oh, well, but I wanted to slow down a little bit before we get a little too deep into it. I want to remind everybody that if you go to our Instagram and click our bio, we've got an all my links that you can follow. We've got a couple of resources at the very top that talk about what to do if ICE shows up at your place of employment, at your house, or if you're out and about. There's one in Spanish, one in English. And then there's also a couple places that you can donate to that actually have legal funds that help anybody that's been detained by ICE. So I urge you to go ahead and if you're able to, please donate to those organizations. A little bit below, we have the links that are still supporting Palestine. Those are not going away. We'll always support Palestine. We'll always support like helping people that have been detained by ICE. So if you have any extra, I would donate to those.
Yes. In addition to that, if you would like to support our podcast, a good way to support is to buy our merch. Do you want to reveal? We finally got our own merch.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we've had it out since like October, but we finally bought it ourselves.
Yes, we purchased ourselves. I did want to note that it looks like the tote bags are out of stock for a little bit. They should only be out of stock for a couple more weeks, and then they will be replenished. So you can continue to order those.
Yep.
So,
And no pressure, but it is a good way to support the little project that we have going on here. Hopefully, we will have more designs out soon.
if we could email anybody back that's emailed us, well, I'm done with economics now, so it's going to be possible.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna
you're
be
done with
completely
you're done
possible.
with that class. So
I'm completely done with my
happy for
8-week
you.
class.
Happy for you.
I am not trying to brag, but I want to toot my own horn because I'm very proud of myself. I feel like this class was challenging, and I ended up finishing the class with a 98%. So I have never been that type of student before. I am very proud of myself, to say the least. So
No, I think it's a good what was I gonna say? It's a good
thing to talk about, I guess.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, that's okay.
What I was gonna lean into saying, like, if you as a listener are listening to this and saying like, I need a sign that will be like, okay, what's gonna make me go back to school? Maybe this should be your sign, because I think
Yeah.
as an adult
I've done a lot better. I will say,
Yes.
like, I was never a student that like it. I could have done. I could have just done better. I could have done better. I could have studied more. I could have tried harder on tests. I could have tried harder on assignments. And it's like I always thought that. And now that I have the opportunity to go back, I was a little bit of afraid because I was like, I was really good at procrastinating, not turning. Oh, like I can miss these points. It's not a big deal. Like it was like C's get the degrees or whatever, the very type of that mindset. Now that I've been in the workforce for a long, long time, I was afraid that I was going to fall back into old habits. And I'm very happy to report that those are things that are not me anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of eye-opening to see how much you've changed as a person after the years have gone by. And when I think about it, like I'm really good at not missing deadlines at work. I'm really good at getting things done early, which is polar opposite to how I used to be when I was in school. And it's like I never realized that I was kind of actually practicing for going back to school because I was practicing by having deadlines and getting my things done early. So I don't know,
Yeah.
just something to think about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that are in that don't immediately go to school after high school, that jump into the workforce, I think a lot of us have that advantage. So it's like, don't make it seem like it's a detriment to not have gone to school directly. Sometimes it's a good skill. Sometimes a lot of people need those extra years to kind of figure themselves out, because it is scary.
Yeah.
It is scary being 17 and expecting to know what you're gonna go to school for and what your life is gonna look like.
Oh, did you want to go back to school too? She would like to go back to school as well.
Dude, she's literally a preschool dropout.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of my beautiful daughter. She's literally been staring at us the whole time we've been recording. She was sitting here. I don't know if you all saw her head right here.
Yep.
And now she's over here and she wants my attention.
She's our audience.
Yeah.
We should just direct everything that we say towards her.
Yeah.
But what else? What else has been happening? I do want to mention we had family.
Mm-hmm.
I had family visiting us from Mexico this
So
week.
this episode is a little
Delayed.
but it was because we had family visiting that hadn't been here before.
So I was locked in. I was the tour guide. I was the translator, chaperone. I was the planner. I literally organized the entire week. And for it to be March, it's still cold.
Mm-hmm.
In Illinois, literally tomorrow we're expected to get snow. So
Today we got rain
dude,
all day.
I need to see that groundhog or whatever he was. Ugh.
I don't know. It's the 15th.
I need a word with him.
It's literally the 15th now of March, and the amount of times it's still snowed, that it's rained, it's gone up to like 65, 70, gone back down to 20, has been crazy.
Yep, there was a
Has been
tornado
crazy.
a few days ago, like
Yep.
south of here. But yeah, planning that. So I'm like, what's something that they're gonna like? What's something that they're gonna understand? What's something that like isn't easily available in Mexico? Because for the most part, every place we went to that we went shopping because they love shopping. I mean, who doesn't love shopping, right? But we went out shopping and they're like, oh, we have that back in Mexico. Literally, the only difference is the price. They say that it's cheaper here. A lot of things are cheaper here, and it's like, girl, it's expensive for me. Like, yeah.
Well, I guess the difference is that it's imported over there.
That's true. I think that's the biggest difference. Like,
So some of the
fees.
brands that they specifically were talking about were imported, of course, and so they're probably just going to be more expensive over there. So,
But it was kind of fun. I think we did this last year, and it was a little stressful, but this time around, I felt like it was easier.
yeah. You know what I think is kind of fun to talk about, like when they're here.
Mhm.
When remember we went to Skydeck, and saw a celebrity. So
Oh yeah, we saw some guy.
yeah, Kevin did not recognize him, but I recognized him as soon as we locked eyes. I was like, I know.
Dude,
I
a
know
lot of
that
people
man.
around us were like looking at him and then running to their friend and be like, "Oh my god, it's."
But
And
I was very surprised because nobody like was going up to. He was with his girlfriend and his mom. Nobody was going up to him and asking to take pictures. And I think he was getting kind of ready for people to do that because he started to put his sunglasses on and like looking down. But I feel like everybody saw him, but was very respectful and did not go up to him.
or they just straight up didn't know who he was.
Or
like
yeah,
me.
I feel like Chaperone is training us all to not go up to celebrities and say anything to them when they're on their
Yeah.
time off.
Yeah, if you look at him, dude, that's just a guy.
Yeah.
That's just some dude.
I think his name's Darren Bennett. He was on a couple shows on Netflix, and he's on like Chicago Med or something like that. So
Oh yeah, I assume that's probably why he was here. But yeah, we saw him at the Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower.
and I said this when he looked at me, I was like,
No, you didn't. Did you
no,
really?
I didn't know.
To our audio only listeners, can you describe what that was?
I put the tip of my tongue on my, what is it?
What?
My sharp
He
tooth.
just stuck his tongue out and then did a peace sign.
Yeah. I actually rest the tip of my tongue on my, what is this called?
Tooth.
No, your sharp tooth. My canine. And threw up a peace sign.
Yeah, but that was funny. I was like, I don't care.
That's kind of embarrassing because it reminds me, like, segueing away, but like it kind of reminds me of that one time we went live on Instagram and everybody was like, why does he keep throwing up the peace sign? But I didn't know what to do with my hands and I was so nervous.
Oh yeah.
I was like, people were like, stop doing that. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm so nervous. We had people
funny.
watching our live. We haven't gone live again.
No, that'd be fun
After
to
that.
do. I was
Yeah.
thinking about it, especially because like sometimes I'm just on TikTok and I join people's lives, and people add me to their live, like when it's a group of like 3 people, and I'm just like, hey, and they invite me, and I'm just like, sure.
Even like going live for like 20 minutes and just telling a couple of scary stories
Yeah.
every once in a while, I feel like would be really cool. Hello, my daughter. She's not in the camera, but she's right here.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fun to, not just like for scary stuff, but it's just to like to check in and be like,
To
hey,
catch
how's
up.
everyone doing?
Yeah. Weather's been kind of crazy. Allergies have been kind of crazy.
Wait, I wanted to segue into
Okay.
So we went to the Willis Tower. Part of the Willis Tower was that the first part of it, before you get to the sky deck, which is like the full 360 view of the city from like the 103rd floor or something, before that, it's like a little museum describing like the history of Chicago, just quick little facts. It talks about the food of Chicago, um, how they reversed the river, quick facts like that. The architecture. My cousin said, I never knew Chicago was such an impressive city. Um, and I said, well, what do you usually hear about it? And she said most of the stuff that you hear coming out of Chicago is that it's such a dangerous city, um, that it's dangerous and it's dirty. I think danger is like something that she kept mentioning it. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen that a lot too. And it sucks because it's like you try to describe it to people, but all they care about is what they see on like the news and say like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
so and so was murdered. It's like, yeah, murders happen literally everywhere. So it's not just an exclusive thing to Chicago. Um, that's to say that I think Chicago, and I might be biased, but it's one of the greatest cities on the planet. And if you are ever curious of visiting,
Come
do it.
visit.
Do it.
There's plenty to do. Plenty of plenty of neighborhoods. There's plenty of suburbs that you can hit up. Like there's so many things to do here. But sorry, I segued away because I
Mhm.
was talking about the celebrity. But I was gonna say what is fun is when people come to visit from other countries,
Mhm.
is that you get to kind of tell them like the history a little bit. So
Yeah.
like when we were talking with Ale, his cousin, I was like, "Oh, the Chicago fire happened, and supposedly it was a little cat. It was a little cow, and she kicked over a lamp." And then she's like, "Huh? Are you serious? Is that real?" And I'm like, "That's the urban legend that it was a cow. She kicked the lamp, and then half the city burned down."
Yeah.
And she was shook. So it's kind of fun to be able to tell stories like that, or tell stories about. We talked about H.H. Holmes because we were talking about the World's Fair,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh, this is at the same time that H.H. Holmes would pull up with his little thing, and he'd be like, 'Hey, come to my hotel.'" And then she was like, "Wait, who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's this guy that would take people to his hotel and like murder them."
Wait,
And he's
spoilers.
well, yeah, I was like, he built a special hotel that had rooms and he would gas people in the rooms. And she's like, "I've never heard of this before." She's like, "Oh my God, that happened here?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, and also the World's Fair." And she's like, "That happened here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, and also meat." And then she's like, "Is that why people don't put ketchup on their hot dogs?" And I said, "Uh-huh, yup." So it was very fun. It was very fun, like to have her put like kind of information that she'd heard before about Chicago, and then put two and two together. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's always very fun. It's fun to show off the city that you live in.
I think all in all, it kind of sucks when people fall for the propaganda that Chicago is like a very dangerous and unlivable city. And I think that propaganda was intentional to make it seem because it's such a heavy, bl- uh,
Heavily blue.
blue leaning, blue leaning city. Um, it made it seem like, oh, these people are unhappy. It's so dangerous.
Everybody's
Um,
getting shot.
yeah, and it sucks. And I won't deny it that there is a lot that the city should improve on,
Mm-hmm.
but it takes time, and not everything is going to be fixed, unless you have a mayor like Mayor Mamdani. So
What I also wanted to add is that it's very fun to get to have people come visit and kind of walk them through everything because you kind of get to see the city through a lens that you haven't seen it in a long time. It's like when you were getting familiar with the city that you're living in, whether it was through elementary school, middle school, or whatever it was, and you were learning the local history. But it's like you kind of get to fall in love with wherever you live all over again.
that's
It's
true.
very fun.
And I was gonna segue into just to like start my case, but as a reminder, the midterms for the state of Illinois are on the 17th. Early voting did start like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for sure the election day for the primaries is on Tuesday, March 17th. So if you are registered to vote, be sure to go out and vote. And I'm only saying because for Illinois because I don't know. I don't know if it's like a countrywide thing. Like I know every state and even every municipality or locality always has their different different election dates. I want to say it might be the same thing, like March 17th for most of the country. But just stay informed of your local government. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you are voting.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't voted yet, but I will vote. I swear.
We also should have a segue counter for this episode because the amount of times we've said segue so far is crazy.
No, I won't include it. I won't include it. But I will segue into my case now.
Oh my god! So what are you going to talk about today?
So I'm so excited actually because this. Hold on.
He's got to go into tablet mode. It's going to get serious.
Guys, I'm locked in. I'm on tablet mode. Remember how I accidentally, the last time I did this, I closed out the whole browser? And
You did. And then we were both sitting here like this, and then you had to edit it out.
Yeah, I had to edit it out. But
Or the one time that you were like, where I was on my computer, and I was like, oh, it sucks that I can't do that. And you were like, yeah, you can. And you almost grabbed my computer and just flipped it backwards.
I was like, dude, because I thought...
Like, no, do not.
I thought yours was the same model as mine. And I was like,
it used to be. It used to be. Okay, anyways.
Big ass tablet. Sorry. Okay. So this was something... I mean, I'm sure as you've already seen by the title, we're talking about haunted dolls today.
Okay.
As everyone, frequent listeners of this show know that I love haunted objects.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about haunted dolls and just general haunted dolls. I know in the past we've talked about...
We've done Annabelle,
and that was an episode in Spanish that we did a while back.
Robert the Doll.
Robert the Doll was episode 6. That was one of the early episodes too. That'd be really cool to like
revisit,
but I don't know. We'll talk about it off the air.
Yeah, Corona of the Catskills, technically
Corona
a doll.
Of the Catskills. Okay,
technically a doll idol.
I'm glad you bring that up because this does get reference here.
Okay. Foreshadowing.
Ooh. Okay, so this was actually recommended by our friend Jorge.
Ooh.
Kind of.
I know him.
He recommended a single doll. But I felt like there was not enough material. Like, it would literally be like 20 minutes of talking and then like, okay, see you guys.
Well, I mean, some of them are like that. It's just like the history and like the what happened is like short and sweet, and it's like a good one-off, and then it's like that's it. We still want to talk about it, but it's not enough to fill up an episode, so you kind of have to figure out what to do with it. Yeah,
and that's partially why I included more stuff here.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want it to just be like, hey guys, come here and talk and listen for 20 minutes. Like, I'm like, oh, siéntate, comadre, because I got stuff to tell you. And doing the research for this was actually very interesting because I wanted to include a section where it talks about, like, what is a doll? You know what I mean? So let's get into it.
Okay.
So again, this was recommended by Jorge. Thank you. So dolls. You've heard of them? They're small figures, typically in the form of a person. So the earliest dolls made by humans were made from clay, stone, wood, or any animal byproducts such as ivory or leather. There have been dolls discovered dating back to the 21st century BC. So that's like 4,000 years ago? Wait, no. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. It's about 4,000 years ago. That might be... And there might have been stuff human before. With a lot of stuff before, it was like made out of wood or stone. Sometimes that breaks down or that like sands down or whatever. So a lot of stuff... And especially a long time ago, it was a hard distinction between whether the doll was used for ritualistic purposes, religious purposes, or just recreational. So it's hard to distinguish, especially with some cultures. They were the same thing.
Recreational.
Like a girl playing with a doll.
Okay.
As a toy. What do you mean by that?
We could just move on. We can just move on. I was thinking about inflatable dolls.
What? Should I cut this? Chat, should I cut this? Okay, like I mentioned, they've been dating
Wait.
back. They've been dated back to the 21st century. Some have even been found in the graves of Roman children, and just like those of children today, those dolls were also dressed in clothing. Doll traditions vary among cultures, but beyond an item used for children to play with, dolls also carried spiritual, magical, and ritual value. The use of human-shaped figures in rituals has been well documented in human history on every continent. Some cultures use dolls as a form of good luck charm to either attract good energy or to scare away bad energy, such as darumas in Japan or a kitchen witch in Northern Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Some folk traditions use dolls as a way to represent other humans, sometimes with the intention that whatever happened to the figure would also happen to the person represented, such as puppets lodged in chimneys from the British Isles, or voodoo dolls with pins used in the Southern American hoodoo folk magic tradition. So, also, as a side note, despite the name, voodoo dolls have actually never been associated with Haitian or Louisiana voodoo. That was partially and falsely spread by American pop culture. Another version of this... Actually, hold on. Sorry, I forgot to include this, but from my understanding, the pins in voodoo dolls were like an American invention.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually a tradition passed down from the British tradition of puppets. They were these very loosely made dolls made either out of wax or like yarn. From my understanding, a lot of people in the South did not know how to read, did not know how to write. So for a lot of medical practices, they use pins to indicate where pain was for a specific client. But that kind of over time became what it is today. So a lot of voodoo dolls are actually like a lot of them that you find like in Louisiana, New Orleans, a lot of touristy places, like those are just for tourists. Like no one's gonna sell you like a real voodoo doll for $5 on Bourbon Street, you know. So another version of this is actually La Última Muñeca tradition in Latin America used during quinceañeras, where a doll is dressed in the same style and color as a quinceañera's dress, and she has to relinquish it as a way to show that she is leaving behind her youth and becoming a woman. And I thought that was really interesting because I never considered that. Like, I never connected those two ideas. I was like, oh, it's like a ritual. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying you knew?
Yeah. That's like a big thing in quinceañeras.
No, I know, but I'm saying like I would have never. We're talking about Hana dolls, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get back to it. Other traditions involved using dolls or figures in rituals where folk spirits were prayed to and encouraged to possess these figures in their likeness.
Mm-hmm.
Examples of these are Nkisi and Kondi from the Congo people in the Congo River Basin in Africa, and Kachina dolls from the Hopi Native Americans. So, the Nkisi and Kondi, they are wooden figures. The difference is that Nkondi were meant to represent like angry deities. So a lot of times metal nails were put into their bodies. And that's kind of why the Crone of the Catskills felt so out of place, because it was found in a cave in New York. Whereas like these are found in the Congo River Basin in Africa. So
I will say there's been a couple of times that we've gone to, I think it's, which museum is it that they have like the African exhibit where they have some of these dolls that have nails in their eyes?
Oh,
What museum is that?
that was the museum in Tulsa.
Do you remember me
The
saying
Philbrook Museum.
Yes, do you remember me saying this room feels really heavy? I don't like it.
Yep.
Let
They
me
have
just
those
tell
same
you.
dolls in the Field Museum if you are in Chicago. in the Philbrook Museum if you are near Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um,
Which that's
but yeah,
supposedly haunted. So
yup. But so the Corona of the Catskills is like an example of this, but it's like a well, clearly nobody knows who invented it or like who made it, but it kind of followed this same practice of being like a wooden figure with nails embedded in its body. So the fear of dolls is called pediophobia, and it is tied to a well-known theory where uncanny feelings arise when people are unable to determine if an object is alive or not. This developed the uncanny valley effect where if an object or figure is obviously not human enough, its human-like features will stand out and feel almost comical. And if an object or figure that falls in a specific threshold in appearing almost human, its human-like appearance will be more prominent and appear disturbing. So examples of these are the Polar Express characters, CGI Dwayne Johnson from The Mummy 2, CGI actors in Cats, and CGI young Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy. And this is actually the exact reason why a lot of people feel uncomfortable about like porcelain dolls, especially due to its proportion and its human-like features. Something about it seemed like it's not a person, but it's too close to being a person. And in that, all its features make it seem like not normal
yeah.
or unsettling, I guess.
And kind of to clarify, like the uncanny valley theory, it stems from the fact or like the thought that things that have happened in like your ancestors past have changed their DNA, as now we know that like you can pass down like familial trauma and stuff like that like through DNA. It actively changes your DNA. So the theory is that like, for example, if you're afraid of heights, is because you had an ancestor that may have fallen from a great height and survived, then that changed that DNA and passed it on. And so now in your family, the fear of heights runs.
Yep.
Same thing goes for famine. If you fear like famine or not having enough or being attacked by wild animals or a fear of the dark. So from here stem the idea that like what happened in our ancestors' past that made us afraid of human but not human enough beings.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's the theory that it's believed that humans long ago, while we were evolving, we saw something that looked human but wasn't. So it's believed that we may have encountered something that disturbed us so much to the point where we were unsure whether something was friend or foe.
Yeah. That it was imprinted in our DNA to be afraid of it. And I've seen recently where scientists are talking about like how this sounds like woo, like paranormal stuff, but they say that like this is based in like a time where there was overlapping sapiens. Like we had Homo sapiens, we had Neanderthals, and it could have come from the fact that we were being attacked by other human-like or other sapiens.
Yes.
And so they're like, it's not like we're saying that like vampires or like some crazy ass monster existed a long time ago, but something human-like attacked us and that was imprinted on our DNA. So it could have been around those times. So I thought that was a very interesting theory. So.
Correct. Yeah, it's not to say that like it was something supernatural. There might have been like it could have been. I'm not denying that, but I'm saying like there could have been like also like a very logical answer as to why humans were hesitant about trusting other human-like beings. Where it's
other
like, hey, this kind of looks,
but not so human-like.
This kind of looks human, but there's something off about it.
It scares me.
So
it's why Mark Zuckerberg scares people.
It's why the Polar Express children scare people.
Yeah.
Or like even the examples I gave, like why, and sometimes it's comical, like the Dwayne Johnson, like when it was The Rock, in case anybody doesn't know, but The Rock when he was in The Mummy 2, when he was the Scorpion King, it was like computer generated, but a lot of people thought it was either funny or unsettling how human-like it looked.
But it wasn't human enough.
Is
what people were afraid of.
Yes. So those are just examples of what uncanny valley means. So that's also tied into why people may be afraid of dolls. So we're going to get into our first example, the one that our friend Jorge actually recommended. This is Okiku. Are you familiar with Okiku?
Yeah, because George mentioned it.
Okay. And
Jorge.
that's
I
the
say
end.
George, but it's Jorge.
I say Jorge.
I said it. Me, I say George, but it's Jorge, not
Oh, okay.
not George.
Okay, so the first one is Okiku, also in Japan referred to as Okiku Ningyo. Ningyo just means doll. So the legend says that a 17-year-old boy named Eikichi Suzuki purchased a doll during a visit to Sapporo in Hokkaido for a marine exhibition in 1918.
Mm-hmm.
He purchased it during his travels as a gift for his 2-year-old sister Kikuko, who named her Okiku. Um, Kiku means chrysanthemum. So and she got that from her name, which is Kikuko, which in Japanese means chrysanthemum child. So it was kind of like saying like her little me, I guess. The doll was an Ichimatsu style doll, which is a style of Japanese dolls famous during the Edo period between 1603 and 1868. These dolls represent children with wooden heads, glass eyes, and a cloth body, usually stuffed with sawdust. These types of dolls were usually made with real human hair tied in a knot in the inside of the head for the hair to come out in small holes in the head. Who wrote this? They vary in
You.
size. I know, sorry. They vary in size between 20 to 80 centimeters, but the most common size is around 40 centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not big, but they're not small either.
They're medium.
If only that was a word.
They're grande. They're grande sized.
They're grande sized. So these dolls are actually sold naked, and buyers are encouraged to make or personalize their clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the time, Okiku had a hairstyle called okappa, which is described as cropped at jawline length with short fringed bangs, which is very popular on Japanese dolls at the time. So it's like a cross between a bob cut and a 1920s flapper girl bob.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a bob. So Kikuko took the doll everywhere she went, always carrying it in her arms and even having it in her bed while she slept. However, the following year, when Kikuko turned 3, she died suddenly from a cold-like illness.
No.
The family decided to put her favorite doll in the family's altar where they prayed in her memory. After some time, the family noticed that Okiku's hair was noticeably longer than before, almost like it had grown. And up to this point, I think it's legend. Like, there's no concrete... Like, it just seems like an urban legend, okay?
Okay.
Like, but Okiku is real, okay? So that's, like, the difference. Like, we don't know... Everything we know is, like, the stuff that her family has told us.
Uh-huh.
The family believed that due to dying young, Kikuko's restless spirit possessed the doll. They believe that Kikuko continues to possess Okiku because of her strong feelings and connection to the doll. The doll remained with the family, allegedly taking the responsibility of giving Okiku a haircut whenever she needed it. In 1938, the doll was donated to Manenji Temple in Iwamizawa, Hokkaido, where she remains today. Allegedly, Okiku's hair grew past her knees, almost 10 inches when she first got to the temple. According to a local priest, Okiku appeared to him in a dream asking him to keep her hair trimmed and keep it from growing out of control. Okiku gets a haircut once a year, according to temple priests. So there are claims that the temple refuses to allow the doll to be disassembled to be analyzed, but that they did allow the hair to be tested, which confirmed that it is real human hair.
Whoa.
Another weird theory claims that visitors to the temple have reported that Okiku's mouth is slightly open, revealing a small set of human teeth.
Oh.
There's something about teeth for me that
That's unsettling.
it makes me uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah. Because what if it, like, gets up at night and bites you? Takes, like, a little chomp out of you.
Let's not think about that. So today, the Manenji Temple in Iwamizawa is open to the public, but photography is not allowed. Temple priests claim that this rule was actually implemented because Okiku doesn't like to be photographed, and whenever someone did try to take a photo, the photo would not develop properly. And it would always seem like it was blurry for some reason. So this is one of those possessed or haunted dolls that aren't as bad as the following. Mainly because if it is true, it's actually possessed by a spirit of a 3-year-old girl.
Right.
So as for a possible explanation for the hair growth, because the hair is tied in knots inside the doll's head, it's believed that over time the adhesive holding the glue together had gotten old, causing the hair to untie and look as if it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a theory, though. It could possibly very much be that.
But I mean, it wouldn't explain like why they keep having to cut its hair year after year.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, are they still cutting her hair now?
I don't know. I don't know. We got to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Send us to Japan.
Bucket list. Let's go.
We will investigate. I don't care. I don't care.
Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground.
Did I tell you that I had a dream that we investigated like a haunted location?
I think you did.
No, this is recently. I've had something before. Like, I've had dreams before where one particular, I thought it was really funny that I had a dream that we were, as a podcast, we were invited to, I want to say it was like the Travel Channel, where we traveled with the Jonas Brothers to investigate haunted locations.
I remember this.
Oh,
Yep.
and that was so much fun. I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back in that dream and finish it because it was so fun. Anyway. But yeah, that dream was recent.
Mm-hmm.
I would not mind going to Japan and reporting back. Of course, I won't take pictures. I'll respect that rule.
And be very, very respectful. Correct.
But I will take a good look at Okiku and report back. So, the next one is a little more dangerous.
Okay.
Is that a good description?
I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Is it Peggy?
It is Peggy.
Miss Peggy Hill?
Stop reading my notes.
Oh.
So the next doll that we're going to talk about is Peggy. So Peggy is a 3-foot tall doll with a blonde bob and blue eyes. And overall, she's been described as an innocent, average doll.
What's up with all these bob?
Bob.
All these dolls having bobs.
It's the bob.
The bob is like the evil haircut. It's like they're either evil or they're like they're a queen. I don't even know how to describe it. Like they just eat. They're eating.
She ate. So, however, she's believed to be one of the most haunted and dangerous dolls in the world due to being possessed by malevolent spirits.
Who isn't? Who isn't?
So the exact history of the doll has been lost to history, but according to people who have investigated the doll, it's believed to be possessed by a woman born in 1946 in London who died of a chest-related condition. Some people believe it to be asthma, like an asthma attack.
She got asthma?
I wouldn't joke about this doll. You'll see, okay? You'll see.
Okay.
So mediums believe she may have ties to the Holocaust.
Okay.
A previous owner, after purchasing the doll, reported having trouble sleeping, having very disturbing nightmares, and would often hear footsteps around the house at night, despite living alone.
Oh, hell no.
For some reason, I knew you were going to say that at this point.
Nope.
As I was typing out these notes, I'm like, he's going to say, oh, hell no, at this point.
Nope.
That's why I put, despite living alone. She would sometimes hear the sound of her bathroom light switch turn on and off in the middle of the night. After it scared her so badly, she asked 2 different priests to come by and bless the house, but there was no change. Later, she found and sought the help of Jane Harris, a paranormal investigator and founder of the Haunted Dolls organization in London, and donated the doll to her in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Within days, Jane began feeling ill and suffered from very severe migraines when investigating the then unnamed doll. She claimed she felt so fatigued and drained of energy when being around the doll that she would sometimes stay in bed for days. Because the doll's unknown history, she posted a photo of the doll to her Facebook page asking if anyone would provide any details. So she posted a picture and said, I have this doll. Isn't anyone familiar with her, I guess. So overnight, countless people reached out to her with strange phenomena that happened after just looking at the photo of the doll.
This kind of reminds me of the Dybbuk box
Yes.
a little bit.
Yep. People reported headaches, chest pains, migraines, dizziness, nausea, anxiety, and even hallucinations with just looking at the doll.
Oh, so you're afraid of me having this because I said something about the doll?
Yes.
This already happens to me on a regular basis.
Other more severe responses were that people reported hearing footsteps, their room going cold, and light bulbs burning out. One woman claiming to be a medium said that the doll was possessed by a Jewish woman named Peggy, which is where the name comes from. And this was like I'm assuming like a woman that wasn't really familiar with anything. I don't know. Like, it just seems weird to make up if it was something made up.
Yeah.
It's like,
What I
she's Jewish.
What I think is weird is like her name is Peggy though. I've never met a Jewish woman named Peggy.
Hey, you never know. There might be a Jewish woman out there, Peggy. Shout out. Shout out.
Hi Peggy. Pegatrice.
What the? No, Peggy is short for
Pegatrice?
no.
Then what?
Margaret? No. Right? Like from King of the Hill.
It's short for Pauline or Martha.
It literally says Margaret right there.
Or Margaret. Meg. Peg. Peggy.
It started because it rhymed with Meg, which was short by Margaret. Anyway, I was right. So a woman being named Margaret in 1946 is not out of the ordinary. So it is possible. So to those people that witnessed the photo online, even afterwards, looking at the photo, strange events didn't stop. Because even speaking about the doll caused unexplained phenomena like I mentioned. In 2015, a video of Jane asking Peggy questions with paranormal investigation devices was uploaded to YouTube. This video allegedly caused over 80 people to suffer chest pains, nausea, crippling headaches, and at least one person suffered a heart attack from watching the video. In 2017, Jane Harris wrote a book called Peggy the Doll, A Very Disturbing Haunting, where she writes about her experience living with and investigating Peggy.
I just looked up a picture of Peggy. I'm scared.
Okay. So...
I know my internet is having trouble reconnecting.
And Leo meowed.
When you said the name Peggy again.
He knows.
And now they're staring at us. Now they're staring at the wall.
So today, Peggy has her own room in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, Nevada. She's monitored with video cameras 24/7, and any visitor interested in seeing her must first sign a waiver in case any strange occurrences follow them. So a doll that gave someone a heart attack. And that's exactly why she's considered one of the most dangerous dolls.
And I was talking shit.
So the next doll is Letta. Are you familiar with Letta?
I am not.
Okay. So this one was actually kind of interesting to research. I think this was like the longest one that I did. In 1972, a man named Kerry Walton was visiting his hometown of Wagga Wagga, New South Wales in Australia. He remembered growing up hearing stories of a nearby house that local children believed to be haunted. One local legend claimed that an old man owned the place and that he would often be seen dragging a large sack of what was believed to be full of human heads.
Oh.
So that's not like factual. That's just like something that children said to each other to scare each other.
Right.
Having heard these stories as a boy, he was curious of what became of the house, and as a way to overcome his childhood fear, he decided to explore it. With a flashlight in hand, he went into the cellar of the house where he discovered what looked to be the remains of a human child hidden under the floorboards.
Whoa.
But after a closer examination, it turned out to actually be a child-sized wooden doll. The doll is described as being about 2 feet tall, having wooden hands and legs, long brown hair tied in a ponytail, and painted on black shoes. Kerry claims that the doll's clothing at the time when he found it were very old and were almost disintegrating. So the dark green suit white shirt, and white frills around the neck and wrists that it wears today are all new. He decided to take the doll back home to Brisbane, Queensland. On the drive back home, it was Carrie and his brother John, and they put the doll in a large duffel bag. They claim that while they were driving at night, the bag appeared to be moving, but Carrie does claim that it could have been a trick of the light from the light of cars reflecting on the bag. While Carrie drove, John put his hand behind the bag and began saying, "Letta me out, Letta me out," and that's where they refer to it as Letta.
Letta.
So that was his brother.
Uh-huh.
According to Carrie, after a few hundred miles on the road, he says he started to hear a small voice say, "Letta me out," from the back seat. When Carrie brought the doll home, his family didn't react well to it. They felt uneasy being around the doll, and on the first night, his wife asked Carrie to take the doll to the basement because she didn't feel comfortable having it.
Mm-hmm.
The family dog Randall began acting strange when it got near and attacked the doll, and even years later, Randall continued to bark or attack the doll if they brought it near him.
Oh, Randall.
A dog named
Poor
Randall.
Randall.
After some time, the family began to notice small scuff marks around the house every morning, making them believe that Letta often moves on its own while everyone is asleep. Which honestly is the worst kind of doll to have.
Yeah.
The one that moves on its own, it's like, oh, so it's like unstoppable and it can do whatever it wants.
And then it leaves scuff marks. So not only is it terrorizing your home at night, it's also leaving a mess for you to clean up.
A doll that makes you clean.
Worst nightmare.
They need to invent a doll that makes you clean. Anyone that has come into contact with the doll claims to be overcome with a strong sense of unease or anxiety or a feeling of being sick. Witnesses who have met the doll claim that Letta's facial expressions change, allegedly. It wiggles on its own, items around the doll move on their own, such as a photo frame falling from the wall, and items around the doll react on their own sometimes, such as light bulbs exploding. Carrie took Letta to a medium who claimed the doll was made over 200 years ago by a Roma craftsman in Romania mourning his son. And the sources that I read, they used a different word to describe this craftsman, which is a slur, so I will not be using it.
I'm assuming Romani. A slur for Romani people, right?
Roma people, yes. The medium believes that the craftsman's son drowned, but was unable to determine if the boy's spirit is the one that inhabits the doll now. She also claimed that the spirit that inhabits Letta is not malevolent, only scared and lonely after spending decades in the basement of an abandoned house. It's worth mentioning that none of these claims have been confirmed with documentation or evidence. This is all based on what mediums have told him.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting the doll to be properly dated, Carrie took Letta to the Australian Museum in Sydney to date the nails on the bottom of the doll's feet, and they were able to partially corroborate the medium's claim that it was made over 200 years ago in the mid to late 18th century in an Eastern European community.
That's crazy.
Yup. Like, that medium got it right. They also confirmed that the hair on the doll is real human hair.
Okay.
Yikes. So it is
Couldn't
not
get any worse.
It is not known how or when it made its way to Wagga Wagga, Australia. Like, nobody knows how it got there. Carrie tried selling the doll to an interested buyer, not because of it being haunted, but due to financial reasons. But Carrie claims that when he got to the buyer's house, he claims he felt like something came over him where he couldn't bring himself to get out of the car. Almost like the doll didn't want to be sold.
And possessed him.
Sure. Today, Letta remains under the guardianship of Haley, Carrie's granddaughter, and runs Letta's social media accounts.
She's got social media?
So she has social media accounts.
Stop.
So several mediums have claimed that Letta doesn't like to be on display for the world to see. So in a way to respect his wishes, the Walton family only displays Letta in controlled settings. And even then, there are times when it doesn't want to be perceived, so it will cause anyone viewing it a strong feeling of unease and anxiety.
Mm.
So a doll that gives you anxiety.
does not want to be perceived. I mean, honestly, who among us does not feel like they don't want to be perceived by people sometimes?
No, I get it, and especially like it's a doll, so it's not like
Let us roll for that.
it's not like it can just say like no pictures right now. Like it's gonna be like I'm gonna give you anxiety. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They invented a doll that gives you anxiety. That's crazy. I
Yeah.
got mine the natural way. Okay, the fourth and last doll we will be talking about is not really a specific doll,
Mm-hmm.
but it's Fofão. Are you familiar?
No, I'm very interested.
Okay. In 1983, a Brazilian children's TV series premiered called Balão Mágico, or Magical Balloon. The show starred many children as the main characters as a musical group with clowns as supporting characters or actors. One of these characters was Fofão, a red-haired character with large cheeks who wore a striped long-sleeve short shirt and denim overalls. As a side note, Fofão comes from the word fofo, which means puffy or chubby in Portuguese. So this character became such a hit among children, and sales of a plush toy based on him kept him popular, where he was considered an icon of the 80s in Brazil. So a lot of children just loved the doll.
Mm-hmm.
In the late 1980s, an urban legend spread claiming that the dolls were actually possessed and that they would whisper to children to kill their parents. And it didn't really help that he was often compared to Chucky from Child's Play due to the resemblance of the outfits.
Oh shit.
So, I mean, the way I described it, if you can imagine, it matches a lot with Chucky.
Right.
Which I think, I mean, I'm just guessing this. I have no way to corroborate this, but like it would make sense like if Chucky's outfit was inspired by this because of what I'm gonna say. Or like besides the whispering to kill parents. Along with that, rumors also spread that the dolls had a hidden knife in its body, either for some satanic
What?
ritual or for harming children. This was coincidentally corroborated after parents began to take the dolls apart and discovered that the part that made up the doll's spinal cord resembled a black plastic dagger. And there are photos. Like this is something. I mean, we're gonna share it on
Instagram.
on Instagram, but this is something you can Google, like Fofão knife. I don't know what you would Google for that, but Fofão urban legend. But if you look up a picture of it, it looks like a big knife, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't help to stop the urban legend from spreading, claiming that allegedly a child was found stabbed to death in his room with the only object next to him being a Fofão doll. People began to believe that any and all Fofão dolls were cursed. So they basically got the same treatment as like Los Pitufos in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we mentioned it, or I mentioned it previously in a previous episode where Pitufos, they're the Smurfs in Spanish, but for a while in Mexico, they were believed to be, because of the association of duendes and elves and, anything to that nature in Mexico is considered like associated with the devil. So Pitufo dolls were considered to be, satanic, possessed. They dropped in popularity because of that belief. So it was like the same thing, same situation for this doll. The show ended in 1986, so its popularity died out. But in 2016, it came back to public attention when a group of street performers called Cajeta Furacão went viral performing acrobatic-style dances in the streets of Brazil, with one of the members dressed as Fofão. So I'm sure you've seen those videos. And
Yes.
it's literally from the point of view of someone on a bus and people dancing and doing acrobatics, jumping off a
They're
wall,
doing their little side
flipping over
steps.
things.
Their little
Yes.
side steps.
But yeah, that was Cajeta Furacão with Fofão as one of the characters.
That's crazy.
And that's kind of what brought him to the attention, like recently, of like, especially younger people now. Like, I guess they didn't really know anything besides the urban legend, but they're like, oh, that guy, because he was such a big popular character in the 80s. So that was that was it. I just wanted to throw in that last one because it wasn't like really a possessed doll, but I think its association with people being like it being possessed, I think a lot of people thought it was. So there was actually, I saw a TikTok while I was researching, and I didn't write down the name of the girl, but she had a Fofão doll and she like took it apart and she was like, "Oh my God, this is true. Like this is real." I think it was just a bad design choice because the spine literally is like a plastic dagger. So like the girl was just holding the doll head with like a big dagger coming out of it. I'm like, oh, dude, like this is just bad planning.
And sometimes I think they would reuse other toy parts. So it might have just been that like it was a leftover part and it worked, so they just kept producing the dagger and putting it in the toy.
Yeah, I mean, it was meant to hold everything together, like the body and everything connected from the head. So I don't know.
I'm just trying to be rational with it. I don't really know that.
Yeah, no, me too, and I get it, but um, I couldn't find any a specific example of like someone saying like, "Oh yeah, my Fofão doll was possessed." The only thing was that, you know, those urban legends. Same thing happened with the pitufos. Literally the exact same thing. I remember people would say like, "Oh, I saw someone told me that so and so saw this, that a pitufo like talked to them." And it's like, well, who told you? And it's like, oh, so and so said that so and so told them. It's like, so there wasn't like a first hand account or like even a second hand account. Like this was like, so and so said that so and so said that so and so said. So some of my sources are Japan Makes Me Scared podcast, Curious Archive article by Ashley, Grape Japan article by Jess, Horror Addicts article by DJ Pitzladis, a Redbook article by Bree Schwartz, Daily Mail article by Annabelle Fenwick Elliott, The Ghost in My Machine article by Lucia, a YouTube video by Letta Me Out.
Oh,
again, it has her own social medias.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it's a she or he. I think the articles I was reading is that they refer to it as a him.
Okay.
So I guess he has his own YouTube videos. A YouTube video by Amy's Crypt, a TikTok by @23marquee, R Creepy by Reddit or on Reddit, and Wikipedia. So those were my sources.
Cute. I don't know why Venus just yelled in the middle of that.
She loves YouTube.
She does love YouTube. I wonder if she has anything to add or say to this episode. Oh, she does.
Oh, she does.
Whoa.
Hi.
Meow.
Interesting.
You heard it here live.
So what else has been going on? I guess this is like a good... I felt like the research for this was very interesting. It just sucks how like most of the sources that I found were like other people reporting about it. Like it wasn't like a first-hand news source or anything like that. Like those are really hard to find. I think there are a lot of haunted dolls in the world. And I think we kind of covered like the major ones. But the other stuff that because I wanted to include a lot more. I wanted it to be like a part 2, part 3 maybe. But there's so many, like I would have to like dedicate a lot more time to figure out like more information about them. And a lot of them are urban legends. That's the one thing I kept finding. Like I kept finding like, oh, so and so this happened, and it's like the only source was that like it was just an urban legend years ago. Okay, so what do you have for palate cleanser? I have a few things, but I want to ask you first.
Okay, well, a lot of people... I said nobody sent us their pets, right? So we've got several of them in. I got through a few of them, and I don't know if we talked about an Instagram user named Watermelon sent us her German Shepherd named Kerbo. He's stinky and a big baby. He thinks he's still little and will sit on you and loves oranges and avocados, but hates cats and possums. I don't know if I've already talked about this one or I just put it
No,
in the
I
notes.
wrote it down actually.
Oh, okay. I was
This
like,
is
I don't remember this at all.
this is one that I actually got to talk to them, and they said that their dog is the type of dog that still thinks that they're small, so they will like lay on top of you, and it's like, dude, I can't breathe. Like, get off of me.
This dog's huge.
Yeah, and that
Cute.
reminds me. So growing up, I had a friend that had two Alaskan Malamutes, and if you're familiar with those dogs, they're
They're
huge
huge.
dogs.
Yep.
Those dogs would like lay on top of her, and she was just a girl. But those dogs would lay on top of her, and it's like, girl, how? That is like a bear.
Yeah. Next, our prima Sonia shared a story and a video about Pedro, her neighbor's cat. Pedro helped Sonia through her grief after her dogs Dino and Manu passed away. And I think, if you guys remember, I mentioned her before that she sent in her pets, but they had unfortunately passed like within the last year or so. And so, this black cat named Pedro has gone to her like place and hung out with her and kind of helped her through the grieving process, which I think is very cute. So
Yeah. No, I do remember when you said Dino and Manu, I was like, those names sound so familiar.
yeah, we talked about them. Aw. So the next one is KDV. She sent 5 cats, a dog, and a lizard. The black cat's name is Suki. The orange cat's name is Peach, and his brother Vanilla Bean, or just Bean, and the two chunky girls Sushi and Olive. The roommate's dog is named Sadie, and they also have a lizard named Kodak.
Those are
Which is
all
very
good
cute.
names. Most of them are food. So,
Yeah.
and I love food.
And I thought it was really cute because Sushi, I think it was Sushi. It seemed like the pictures all were in order, so I think it's her cat Sushi was like
Oh, the one that you're like, oh, this one's she's sassy.
she's giving a look. I was like, okay, she's cute. So hi Katie, say hi to your pets for us and your roommate.
Yeah, thank you.
A Rojas sent us her dog Tofu, because she looks like a big block of tofu. She is light beige, and has blue eyes. And A Rojas says she is the sweetest girl in the world, even though she's a white passing Latina. And I was like, that is so out of pocket for her to say.
Oh, you showed me this picture too.
Yes, I showed
Sometimes
you.
Andres lets me actually see the pets.
Yeah.
So, tofu makes sense. Like that's like a very tofu colored dog.
Yeah.
She was very cute.
She's very cute. Sometimes Kevin's like, why are you smiling? Why are you laughing? Why are you kicking your feet? And I'm like, that's because I'm looking at pictures of pets. They're so cute. So the last one that I have for today is Geraldina C. sent us her beautiful little orange cat named Guillermo, who was born on April 1st, which is fitting because he is an April Fool. Her words, not mine. Geraldina also sent us her dog Momo. She also sent us her nephews Chill the Budgie, which is a bird, and Gizmo the hamster. She says that Momo used to be afraid of Guillermo, but as like I guess they visit her parents more, like Momo has gotten more used to it. I'm thinking that Momo is her dog, but she lives with her parents and she moved out. Because then she told me that her brother got Gizmo the hamster and he had him in a dorm room, but he got caught with Gizmo, so then he had to go with his grandparents. So her parents ended up with a bunch of pets with the Budgie, Chill, Gizmo, and with Momo. So I thought
my
that was very
God.
cute. And that's what I understood from like her email. So I apologize if I got anything wrong, but it was very cute. And thank you for sending us your pets. But that's all I have.
Thank you. Those are funny. On April 1st is so funny.
Yeah,
He was just a little court jester.
he's a little spring. He's a little spring idiot. I love
I think
that.
Leo was born in April.
He's
right?
the orange cat that's been walking around here.
So besides that, I did have a few topics. So it being close to St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah.
did you ever have a class in elementary school where you went to recess and came back to find like the classroom destroyed and the teacher was like, "Oh, look, this is what the leprechaun did."
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. So it's just me.
Yeah, we came. I remember we came back once in elementary school, and what there was is little pots of gold with chocolate coins in them.
Hmm.
So I remember that. I don't remember like a teacher destroying her own classroom.
No, it wasn't like destroyed. Okay. It's
Okay.
funny because like I saw this on a TikTok and it like activated a memory in me, and I was like, oh, dude, I remember this.
Yeah.
So we went to recess, and in the recess,
Wait. Oh. Oh, my back and my butt are hurting. It's Peggy. Okay, anyways, keep going.
so I remember this. I remember we went to recess, and I literally cannot remember what grade it was. And it's like if I have um any listeners from the east side of Chicago that will
Corroborate.
corroborate and say like, oh, it was this grade, please let me know. But I remember we went to recess, and at that school, we didn't have a playground.
Mm-hmm.
Our recess was in a parking lot, and I remember we got back to the classroom, and there was like some of the chairs, the chair that's like a foot tall. Okay, so these weren't like big chairs. Some of the chairs were like knocked over. Some of them were like on top of the desks. Some of the posters were like upside down, and we came in, and I remember the teacher was like, oh my god, children, you missed it, there was a leprechaun. And you should not do that to a child, because we were all like,
Scared.
what? We were scared. And she was like, yeah, but I caught it. And I remember she came out, I think she may have done it with like her one arm in the bag and the other
Mhm.
one like holding it. But I remember I was so scared because it was moving about. Like I still see it in my mind when she's like, I need a bag as a prop right now. But it looked like it was moving from the inside, and I was like, dude. And she's like, it's okay, I got it though, like I caught it. And I remember she like, in the classroom there was two doors to get in, so she went out one door, and she's like, I'm gonna take it back outside or whatever. And after a few minutes, if you can imagine, all of us, I mean, I think there was an assistant teacher with us, but all the students were just kind of looking at each other like, oh my god, dude, did you see that? Did you see that? And then the teacher came back, and she's like, okay, yeah, I took care of it, and it's, back outside, so it won't bother us anymore. And then they made us clean up.
See, I was like, they're gonna make you clean up. That's what
And
I was
I thought
thinking.
that was so funny.
Yeah.
But we were all shook. Like if you've ever seen like adults pull pranks on children, the one that I've seen a lot is the one where someone has like a fake hand in their sweater, and they go to shake a girl's hand, and the girl like pulls the whole hand out, and she like
Mhm.
freaks out, and she starts crying. That was us with the leprechaun. Like we're like, dude, what did we do? That was so funny.
This is how I know we've been recording for too long. She's asking for attention. She's like,
Aw.
"All right, you're done. You're done."
And it's funny how like now St. Patrick's Day as adults is just like people going out to drink at a bar.
Yeah.
Like literally this weekend we went out for your birthday, and girl, we should have
That's
just
okay.
stayed home.
Mhm.
we should have just ordered pizza and invited our friends over because it was packed. Besides that, for March, there are rumors circulating again that the rapture is going to happen on March 22nd.
Yep, I saw that.
So there was people going to Costco, and I think someone was like, people are going to Costco, it's because they know that the rapture is coming. It's
The
like,
raptor is coming.
oh yeah, they kept misspelling it, the raptor. If the rapture is coming, why are they buying food? They're going to leave. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would they need that food for if
I
they're
don't
going
know.
to go to heaven?
I hope people do get raptured and they just leave the rest of us alone. I really do hope. I remember I said that to somebody one time, like on a Facebook comment. I
Yeah.
was like, I hope to God you do get raptured and you leave the rest of us alone. And then she was like, that is literally so rude. And I'm like,
Yeah.
isn't that what you want?
Oh, I remember
Like,
that. I
what
remember
the
you showed me
fuck?
that, and they're like, "Why would you say that? That is literally what's so rude." I'm
And I
like,
was like,
"What do you want from me?"
isn't that what you want? I literally just told you what you wanted.
The Bible never even mentions the rapture. The rapture was something literally someone made up. It's not corroborated in literally anything. Anyway,
Moving on.
moving on. So
I don't know what's happening right now.
I have two more.
Okay. Because my daughter is center stage of this
Sorry.
podcast right now. She's
Did
ready.
you ever have a crazy sleepover as a child?
Yes,
Okay,
because
let's hear it.
so we would have sleepovers with my cousins all the time. It was like all of us would stay, like my primos and
Oh,
primas.
so this
would
wasn't like you didn't have sleepovers with like friends?
No, hell no. Ew, people are weird. Why would I?
No,
Why would I
that's true.
invite strangers to my house? But anyways, so I had all my cousins and my cousins, female and male, and we were all staying, and we would all like have tendidos in the living room. So there was like a ton of blankets everywhere, and you just like slept on the blankets on the floor.
Yep.
And my uncle loved to put masks on and run around with chainsaws. So I've told you
Girl.
this story before about Ivanise's dad, how he would just like randomly show up dressed like Bigfoot, like at a party, and then fucking bang on walls and scare everybody. That's never changed. He's always done that.
If someone did that to me, I would throw up and leave.
Yeah. So that was a crazy. That was a crazy.
Okay, maybe I should have specified.
Sleepover.
Maybe I just have such a unique. I have a unique little life and a unique little experience. Then.
You know, I'm very thankful because I never spent the night at my friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
So I never got to experience they didn't feed me and they made me stay in the room. Or
Oh.
my friend's mom yelled at him and then called him useless.
Those
and,
are always so awkward.
And I'm just like, nope, couldn't relate because I always spent the night at my cousin's house. And if they yelled at my cousin, they were also yelling at me because it was like my other mom. It was like my mom.
Yeah.
So
No, that makes sense. I think when I wrote this, I was remembering about, and I wish I could remember his name, but I want to say it was around middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in a Mexican household, sleepovers just don't happen with your friends. Like, it's something that
we don't do that.
I had to convince my mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, please, the new God of War game came out. Like, I have to play this with my friends. You don't understand. And
Don't tell mom. That's what it just reminded me of.
yeah. And I remember going to this guy's house. Dude, bedtime was like at 9:30.
Hell no.
And it was like, I was like,
It was still
what?
light out. I bet it was still light out too, huh?
It literally felt like it.
Yeah.
It was like summertime, so probably.
Yes, I was
But-
gonna say the sun does not go down till like 9:20 here at night.
But also, like, dude, his mom disconnected the Xbox
Oh.
and took it with her.
Didn't she turn off the Wi-Fi too?
She also turned off the Wi-Fi, but that didn't really matter because Wi-Fi really wasn't used for anything like that for
Mhm.
gaming.
Back then, it wasn't like online like it is now.
No, like,
Yeah.
and we didn't really have cell phones like that. Like, we had cell phones, but it wasn't the same as it is now. Like, you had to download a text message. We're showing our age. So I always remember that where it's like, dude, lights out at 9:30. She took the Xbox. Like, you can't even. I wanted to stay up and like drink Mountain Dew Code Red and eat Doritos and play Pokemon Coliseum and God of War. And I can't even do that because she took the game console. Like, that was crazy. And then in the morning, they went to church. Correction.
Wow.
We went to church. And even that was awkward. Anyway, I never went back.
Yeah, I would never go back either.
That was there was a lot of like sleepovers that I had like as a child. Like it was like middle school, early high school. It wasn't ever anything crazy, but it was like little things like that where it's like, oh, this is weird. Like, so I do want to say that there were a few times when like I don't want to say that they didn't feed me, but it's like you could tell that they were like prioritizing their children. So that also was kind of awkward, like at some sleepovers. But overall, I think the parents of my friends were all like very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very fortunate. I never like I did see a few times when like they did get in trouble in front of me, but it was never like anything like violent or like, you know, I guess violent or anything. It was just more like, oh, that was so embarrassing, and I was just sitting there awkwardly like, yikes.
Well, I think I even had like a palate cleanser here from a long, long time ago where I was talking about I put your tia or friend's mom waking up in the middle of the night to tell you to go to sleep. And I think this was kind of related to that because sometimes when we'd be really, really loud, they would come in and they'd be like, "Ya duérmanse, duérmanse ya."
Oh yeah, those times were really awkward too. Because
Yeah,
there were some friends that I would stay over their house and like their parents didn't care. Their parents
yeah.
literally were like, we would stay up till 6 in the morning, and they would not care. They could sleep through all of that, and sometimes they would like, it's like 2 in the morning, and they would be like, "It's 2 in the morning. You need to turn that off right now."
I'm talking. Ooh, I'm
Like
talking
those were,
specifically about the times that I was like,
yeah,
they'd be like, ya duérmete, ya duérmete. They'd be like talking to their kid,
yeah.
and then they'd be like, "Ay, mijo, necesitas otra cobija." Like they, it was
Oh,
so
see, I think they never,
awkward.
yeah, those
It
were
was
awkward.
so
They
awkward
never
where it was
addressed
like
me.
they were acting crazy to their kid, and then
Yeah.
it's like, then they were asking, "Did you need something? Did you need a water?" And you're like, "I know you were also talking to me when you were acting crazy, but you can't really say that to me."
Yeah.
Or you could, but whatever.
I mean, you're coming from a different perspective. Like that was your aunt most of the time. Like for
Yeah.
me, it was like my friend's mom. Like she would, that was really awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never like she was yelling at me. It was more like, you guys need to go to bed. It's already late. It's already 2 in the morning. Some of us have to wake up early. And I was like, damn, okay. But yeah, those times were awkward when they would yell at them
Yeah.
about something embarrassing, like, oh, you didn't do your chores or something, or they'd be like, you need to tell your friend that he needs to go home. And I'm like, damn, right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Those were awkward too. Well, I think this is a good stopping point.
Okay.
It's kind of late anyway. So, thanks for listening. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Get Spooky Podcast. Also, email us any story suggestions or your own scary stories at getspookypodcast@gmail.com. Now that Andres has more free time with one less class to worry about, we plan to put out a
Cheeky-sode.
new Cheeky-sode with listener stories in it soon. Next episode will be at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And as a reminder, our schedule is the 15th and the 30th of each month, but sometimes we run a little late, like this one. So special thanks to Taylor Turner for the artwork, Kyle Fields for the intro music, and Leonardo for the logo redesign. Don't forget to tell someone you love how much they mean to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.